Okay, so I think we are live right now. Not sure if anybody is there, but I just wanted to remind you that you have this list of rules of all your circle rules here. So keep those handy as you're doing stuff. Today I'm going to go over the circle practice that you did because you're going to have a quiz that looks similar to that. There's a link for that that's on our website. The website, remember, is www.cimath.com. So if you go there and you click the link for the quiz, of course you're going to use your notes to do your quiz. I expect that. So let's start by going over that quiz review. So the answers, I actually did a video with that quiz review. So if there's any thing that you need to look up, and I also posted a hard copy of the answers on the website. So here we are. If you're looking at I'm not sure if anyone's there, if anyone has any questions for me on anything. You're really just using all those rules. You're looking for inscribed angles, you're looking for central angles. This question 1 had all inscribed angles. Remember, the inscribed angles half the arc. This came out a little bit hard to read, sorry about that. All the arcs in a circle equal 360. So they started off by giving us some arcs, some angles, and then we're able to find the rest of this stuff just based on that. On your quiz, you'll also, there's somebody. Let me just move the screen so I can see these comments, who they're from. Okay. And then you'll have some that are equations that you're going to do. So this is more of an equation. Just remember the rule for an inscribed angle. The angle is half the arc. So you take the angle and you set it equal to half the arc. To get rid of that half, you're going to multiply by 2. That gets rid of the 1/2, and you have to multiply this side by 2 also. Okay, so same thing's going on question 3. Again, I posted videos for these that you can watch. This was more just to see if you had any questions at all. So if anybody has any questions, I see somebody's on. Some people didn't use their names though, so I can't actually tell who's who. But hi for everybody who's here right now. There is a little bit of a delay, so I'm going to wait just to see if you have any questions. Ryan did point out to me that on question 3 there's a mistake. I solved for x, which is fine, but I forgot to plug it back in. So please remember, when you're taking your quiz, a lot of times you have to plug it back in, and I'm not seeing your work, so make sure that you are going back and reading the question and seeing if you have to plug it back in to find the angle or the arc or anything like that. So on this question number 3, I found that x is 8. Let me just find my answer right here. I have to find the measure of angle ABC, so I have to plug in 5 times 8, which is 40, plus 1, so you should get 51. So again, question number 3, the measure of angle ABC should be 51. And I'll just do like a brief little overview. Another rule that you should know is that opposite angles in a quadrilateral equal 180. So I actually wrote that, and then for some reason I made a mistake and set them equal to 360. Sorry about that. But that was fixed in the video, and that was fixed on the hard copy that I printed also. Number 4, these are both inscribed angles, and they have that same intercepted arc, so those inscribed angles have to be equal to each other. So that's how I did that. Now, after you find out what x is, I had to plug it back in to find the angle, but the question actually wanted to know the arc. Remember, the arc is 2 times the angle. And then, of course, we have the rest of our circle rules. When the angle is outside the circle, the angle is 1/2 the difference of the arcs. So I took the angle, which is 4x plus 15, and I set it equal to 1/2 the difference of the arcs. All right. Number 7, those are the chords. The segments of one chord multiplied equals the segments of the other chord multiplied. So if for some reason you did not do this, please try it. If there's anything that you got wrong, try those again. You can see if you have any questions, let me know. Your quiz will be similar to this. Even though your quiz is online, you should have a pen and a paper so that you can write anything out, calculator. This one, remember, a tangent and a radius are perpendicular, so that's a right angle, so you can use the Pythagorean theorem for that. And again, just be careful because they actually wanted just the radius, so that's why I took half at the end. The hat theorem, 2 tangents are equal to each other. When I have the segments for the secant and the tangent, remember I'm doing we. The whole thing times the external part equals the whole thing times the external part. This one comes out to be a trinomial that I have to factor. And then the last couple down here, this is an angle that's inside of a circle, so it's 1/2 the sum of the arcs. And your quiz should be fine because you're going to have your rules right in front of you. I'm not asking, you should have them memorized eventually. You'll need to know them for the regions. But for now, you'll have your rules right in front of you and you'll be all set. And then this one, the angle is inside. The angle is 1/2 the sum of the arcs. But I know the angle, so I have to actually solve for the arc. Okay? This one, 13, it looks like an inscribed angle, but it's technically not an inscribed angle, but it does have the same rule that it's 1/2 of the arc. So I solve, but then they want me to actually find this other angle over here, angle NMP. So after I solve for X and plug it in, I have to subtract from 180. All right, so are there any questions at all on that circle practice? Your quiz will be similar to this, just the basic rules, sometimes setting up equations. Sometimes you have to go back and you have to plug in to find the angle or the arc or something like that. All right, so I want you, you can work on your quiz. I have to look at, I left my calendar somewhere else. I will, you'll have like 2 days or so in order to do your quiz. All right, I'll give you a due date for it. So again, use your notes as you're doing it. Any questions at all in the circle practice? I'm just going to look at the homework answers. Those were a little bit more difficult to do, so I'll see if there's any questions on the homework, if there's nothing on this. There's a delay, so I'm just going to wait a second, see if there are any questions. All right, I'm going to pull up the homework, but if there's anything on this, I can always go right back to it. So lesson 7, I believe we already went over 1 and 2 in class. And again, there was a video on this that you can look at, but I have all of my my notes right here as to what I did. Number 1, this is an isosceles triangle because those are both the radiuses of the circle. All right, and the angle, I'm trying to find this angle that I have highlighted in red. It's just half the arc. Any questions at all on the lesson 7 homework? Anything on lesson 7? This is getting a little bit trickier. This angle is 102. That makes this arc 204. And again, whenever you have an angle that's outside the circle, it's 1/2 the difference of the arcs. And on this one, I'm trying to solve for the arc. So I have to get rid of that 1/2 and multiply by 2. Okay, Ryan is saying he has a question on 13. I assume that's from the circle ditto, Ryan. Let me just finish this lesson 7 and I will go back to this. Whoops, I don't want to move that. And I will go back to the circle ditto. Let me just see if there's anything on the second page. This is the lesson 7 homework. Okay, anything more on this lesson 7 homework? Lesson 7 homework, any questions on this? It gets a little bit harder when you have the ratio, when they give you the arcs as a ratio. So those two arcs together form a half a circle. So that's why I set them equal to 180. I called them 2x and 1x. I set them equal to 180. I solve for x. And then I can go back and actually find the arcs. I want to find angle P. It's 1/2 the difference of the arcs because P is an angle that's outside of the circle. All right, so once I know what the arcs are, and I find that by solving right here for x, then I can actually find out what angle P is. Okay, this page, oh, Ryan's saying this page I couldn't get. Like a certain question on this page or all of this page, Ryan? Anything? This page was definitely a little bit harder than some of the other stuff. I'm just waiting for Ryan to see if he has a certain question on something on here. I'm not sure how long the delay is, but I know there is a delay. This one I know arc BE is 138. And what else did they tell me? Angle FBC is 52. So once I know angle FBC, see how that's an inscribed angle, is 52, then this yellow arc has to be 104. Okay, and I want to determine arc BF. So arc BF is right here. This, see where I put the 38 with the arrow? I know that because that's a tangent and a radius, so it has to equal 90. And once I know that arc is 38, then I know that this, once I know the angle's 38, then I know that arc is twice that. Okay, so Ryan's saying the whole page, but 4 mainly. All right, so 4 is what I'm going over now, so hopefully this is answering your question. Again, this MB is a tangent, and BC is a diameter, so that's a right angle. So I know that this angle is 52, then I do 90 minus 52. This angle right in here, where I have the arrow pointing, is 38. Then this arc right here has to be twice that angle. So that's how I get the, I can't even read what I wrote, 76, okay? And that was right here. So what did I say? I said arc F, oh, another way to do it. So that's one way to do it. I did it a different way actually here. Arc FC is 104, okay? And then arc BF is 180. See how BF and FC together make a half a circle? So that's how I know they have to equal 180. So 180 minus 104. Again, how did I get the 104? It's opposite this inscribed angle. If the angle's 52, then that arc is 104. Angle M is outside the circle, so it's 1/2 the difference of the arcs. The arcs are this arc right here, which is 138, and this arc right here, which is 76. It's always 1/2 the difference of the arcs that are between those two, the secant and the tangent in this case. C, I want to find angle BGE. Let me just look to see where BGE is right here, where I have this blue dot. It's an angle inside the circle. And when you have an angle inside the circle, the rule is it's 1/2 the sum of the arcs. Which arcs? The arcs that are opposite the angle in both directions. So this arc, which is 138, and this arc, which is 104. So basically, when you have an angle outside the circle, like B, it's 1/2 the difference of the arcs. When I have an angle inside the circle that's not a central angle, not an inscribed angle, then it's 1/2 the sum of the arcs. And the last question on here wants you to find the measure of angle MFB. So that's this angle right here. So what I know is that this, I'm trying to see what I did right here. So MBF, which I already did, is 90 minus 52, so that's 38. And then MFB is 180 minus 31, because that's what this angle is, minus 38, because that's what that angle is, because these three together form a triangle. So that's question 4. Hopefully that answers your question, Ryan. Is there anything else on question 4 that you want explained? And then I still know that you want to go back to that circle question number 13, I think it was. Yeah, we can definitely look at 13. 13's not too bad, so that'll be easy to explain to you. Okay, this one I already mentioned, that these arcs are in the ratio 2:1. Arc BC, which is here in yellow, and arc CD, BC and CD right here. Together, those two form a half a circle, so that's why I set them equal to 180, and I substituted back in to find the angle, so this one's 120, this one is 60. All right, and then I'm finding angle P. They already gave me this one right here. All right, so you have to take what they give you and sort of, it's like a puzzle. All right, Ryan's saying that's it. So we're done with lesson 7 homework. Let me find that circle question 13. All right, so back to circles, because someone has a question on that. Number 13 right here. So LMP, which is right here, I know that's 3x plus 41, and then this arc LOP is 11x minus 38. So I said to you guys, it looks sort of like an inscribed angle now. It's not technically an inscribed angle, but it has the same rule as an inscribed angle, and that it's half the arc. So I took the angle, which is 3x plus 41, and I set it equal to half the arc. To get rid of that half, I multiplied by 2 to get rid of the 1/2. That's how I get the 6x plus 82. Because if I multiply this side by 2 to get rid of the 1/2, I have to multiply this whole side by 2. So that's where the 6x plus 82 is coming in. I subtract 6x from 11x, I get 5x. I add 38 to 82 and I get 120. I divide by 5 and x is 24. At that point, I go back and substitute it in to find angle LMP. So 3 times 24 plus 41. So this angle right here is 113. The question though wanted angle NMP, which is out here, and together those form a line. So all I did to find angle NMP is 180 minus 113. Okay. How can we, someone's asking, how can we send you a picture of the circle practice? So as long as you guys are all on Remind, then you can send a picture of anything that you've done. So I'm not officially checking anything because that would be kind of hard to do, and I don't even know if everybody's able, that has internet, is able to do this. So I was basically just encouraging you to do it. So you guys, the more you do on your own, the better off that you're going to be. All right, so I know it would be easy to not do anything or to just copy the answers when I post them. So to encourage you to do stuff beforehand, before it's posted, if you want to take a picture of it on your phone and send it to me through Remind, you can do that, and then I will check you off as doing that for just a little extra credit. If you don't do that, you don't want to do that, that's fine. It was really just an incentive to get you to try and do the homework on your own before I post the answers. Okay, because the more that you do, the better. Circles is not, there's a couple questions on circles on the Regents, and there's just a lot of rules. So the more that you practice it, it's not the same thing for you guys just to watch the video and copy it. All right, you really need to be trying the problems on your own. So that's why I was encouraging you to do that. All right, if I'm going to look at the homework 8 just to see if you guys have questions on that. All right, so lesson 8 homework. I think this might have been a little bit easier than lesson 7 homework. So this one is the 2 secants. Remember, it's the whole thing times the external. The external part is the part that's sticking out of the circle, equals the whole thing, which is x, times the external part, and I'm just solving for x. Same thing is going on. Even if I have a tangent, the whole thing is x, and the external part, the part sticking out, is also x. So that was basically what lesson 8 was about. 3 is the same idea. The whole times the external equals the whole times the external. And again, I did make a video of these answers with more of an explanation. So this was just to be a, a way for you guys to ask questions as I'm doing it. Maybe what I'll do in the future, I'll have to think about what's best for everybody. I might just do it live and go over it, and you can answer questions, and then even if you can't watch it live, it'll always still be there on YouTube that you can watch it. So that's what I might do in the future, just to sort of go over it and take questions at the same time, because this is like I'm doing the same thing twice. All right, and then question 5. First they want me to find BC, which is a tangent, so the whole times the external equals the whole times the external. To find the length of the radius, I'm doing Pythagorean theorem. So these are all things, even though I'm doing circles, if you have a right triangle, you're thinking Pythagorean theorem, or if you have a right triangle, you might be thinking of trig. I had to find that angle. A way to find the angle, if I have 2 sides, is to use trig. Okay, and I told you guys you didn't have to do 6, so it's just up to 5. Any questions at all on either of the homeworks or the circle stuff, that circle practice? Your quiz is mostly like the circle practice, all right? And of course, as I said earlier, if you weren't here, you can of course use your notes as you're doing the quiz. So the link for the quiz is on www.cimath.com. So you're gonna, today and tomorrow, if you can work on that quiz, that would be great. And then we will pick up with the next lesson, which will be lesson 9. Okay, equations of circles. Now, equations of circles is something that is on every single Regents. This first lesson is just basic equations of circles, but in reality, the question that they ask you is right here, is you're going to have to complete the square in order to do that. All right, so I will remind you how to complete the square. So these lessons you are watching on emathinstruction.com if you watch the lesson, and then I will go, take any questions live. I will go over the homework live. That's how we're going to do that. We are skipping lesson 11. It's just constructing tangents, so you don't need to worry about that. That was something extra, and I know not everybody has a working compass at home, but we will do 12. So there's basically 3 more lessons. We'll do review, Maybe I'll throw in an extra regions practice, but you know, we should be fine with that. Does anybody have any questions on anything at all? Anything from what we need to do to... So at this point, what you're going to work on today is that quiz. The link is on the school website. If you have any questions about anything, you can just send me a message on Remind, and I will get back to you as soon as I see it. And as of now, there's no school until April 1st. We'll see how things go from there, and hope you guys are all doing okay. And I miss you. What about lesson 9? So someone's asking, what about lesson 9? You can certainly go ahead and do that. That's not due today. I didn't bring down my calendar. My calendar's upstairs. So the calendar is on the website, an updated one. I printed it, but I forgot. I don't have it with me right now. Lesson 9 is not due tomorrow. What is due tomorrow is the quiz. So all you're doing is the quiz tonight. Okay? I don't think I have my calendar now. You're going to do the quiz tonight. If you're bored and you have more time and you want to do lesson 9, that would be great. You're going to watch that on emathinstruction.com, and then you try the homework to it. So you're watching the lesson on eMath Instruction with Kirk. You're going to try the homework, and then I will take any questions on anything that you have a question with for, lesson 9 and the homework also. All right? Anything else? Anybody have any questions? Hopefully that was helpful for me to go over it with you. I know it's not the same as if we were in class together. But, all right, so if there's nothing else, that's it for today. But if you need anything, send me a message on Remind, and you're working on that circle stuff. Use your notes. Have that little sheet of all the rules out, and use your notes to do that. Okay? For the extra credit, someone's asking me for the extra credit. What is extra credit? Is if you were sending me a picture of the homework or any kind of assignment that was assigned prior to me going over it. So like the lesson 9 homework, if you send me a picture of that before I go over it, then that's the extra credit. Okay, it's not a huge thing, so if you don't do it, that's not a big deal. It was, again, just an incentive to have you guys try it on your own, because it is really important to try stuff on your own rather than just watch me do it. You learn so much more if you guys are actually doing it. It's not the same thing if you're just copying it from what I go over. Okay, so that's the extra credit. The quiz is not extra credit. I want everybody to take the quiz, but you use your notes to do it. It's not a hard quiz. It's really just the basic rules and just making sure that everybody's okay with that. So look it up. Look up the rules for each thing that you're doing. Think to yourself, is it an inscribed angle? Is it a central angle? Is it an angle outside the circle? Is it an angle inside the circle? The hat theorem. Opposite angles of a quadrilateral and a circle equal 180. So that's all going to be on the quiz. And again, the link is on the website. But if you have any questions at all about that quiz, or you have trouble finding it, just send me a message. But it's right there on the website. If you go to Geometry Honors on the website, and then Unit 9, it will be right there to click. Okay, and hard copies of all these answers are right there on the website also, if you wanted to print anything that we went over today. All right? All right, hope you guys have a great day. Miss you all, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Just close it. And this is a sheet that you should all have. That's all the rules.